Are you a drifter? Are you in a relationship with a drifter? Have you dated a drifter? Maybe you're married to a drifter. All right. What is a drifter, you might be asking? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm actually reading this book. I've read it a couple times. I'm rereading it right now. It's called Outwitting the Devil. It's an amazing read. This book is actually, it was hidden for decades. And it was actually created in, I believe, the 1930s and just recently got published, I think in the 2000s, maybe 2010 or something. But this is by the great Napoleon Hill. He's authored books like Think and Grow Rich, The Law of Success, Outwitting the Devil is another great one. And, you know, it really talks about this principle of drifting and that so many people drift in this world, right? And when you think of somebody like the devil, you know, you have a picture in your mind that is a red character with a pitchfork. Maybe sometimes you think of the Grim Reaper, but you think of the red dude who's like extremely grumpy, has the red curly cued tail, and we classify that as the devil, right? And we all have our outlook on pictures and the way things look, but this is a book that I highly recommend reading. I actually do a bunch of book reviews as well. This isn't a book review video, but if you hear sirens, I'm here in Houston, Texas. But, you know, drifting, I want to go over that, what that is with you, and basically what that means, because maybe you are a drifter and you just don't realize it. You've never really quite understood the concept of what a drifter is. So I'm going to read this because basically Napoleon Hill is interviewing the devil, okay? So a drifter is one who permits himself to be influenced and controlled by circumstances outside of his own mind. He would rather let, and it's saying me, meaning the devil, he would rather let me occupy his mind and do his thinking than go to the trouble of thinking for himself. A drifter is one who accepts whatever life throws in his way without making a protest or putting up a fight. He doesn't know what he wants from life and spends all of his time getting just that. A drifter has lots of opinions, but they are not his own. Most of them are supplied by me, meaning the devil. A drifter is one who is too lazy mentally to use his own brain. That is the reason I can take control of people's thinking and plant my own ideas in their minds. Again, I'll repeat this. Those who do little or no thinking for themselves are drifters. A drifter is one who permits himself to be influenced and controlled by circumstances outside of his own mind. So, ladies and gentlemen, some examples of this: alcohol. When people drink, they're drifting, right? That's also known as, like, they say, the devil's poison, right? I'm not saying alcohol is bad, right? I'll drink casually. But when you get to the point where you get so intoxicated, AKA you're drunk, you don't know what you're doing with your body and your mind. People black out. I blacked out before. I've had to get escorted out of a club in Vancouver because of a blackout. And I got so intoxicated, man, I've had moments like that. And I realized, like, by reading this, I was drifting and I didn't know what I was doing. And, you know, typically whenever people are intoxicated and they have drinks in their system, they do actions and they perform duties that they can't even remember that they did. And you'll have things like rape that happens, abuse, whether it's physical or emotional abuse. A lot of the times it's physical. You have people that'll die under the influence of somebody being intoxicated. And the person wasn't even a DUI, right? You have so many deaths in a year that happen because somebody's drunk, intoxicated, they drifted simply because they had a drink and they had alcohol in their system. That's drifting, ladies and gentlemen. Drugs. I've smoked weed. You know, I've done that. I've done drugs. Have I gotten addicted? No, never. I've never been addicted to that. Are people addicted? Yes. And they're drifting away. They're drifting their lives away. Drifting is when you're not fully present 100% in your mind. There's people that live every single day like that. It's scary, but people live like that. I've been around people that have said they can't hang out without having some kind of like smoke, puff, drink, right? I mean, shoot, you drift if you watch porn. If you want me to get really intimate with it, if you watch porn, I mean, that's drifting because your mind is so obsessed with that. Can you go a countless amount of hours without listening to music, without watching the TV, without watching porn, without just doing something that really isn't bringing you any kind of result? It might satisfy you and it might release a ton of dopamine, but it's like, I'm not saying you got to eliminate music. No, I'm not saying that at all. But like, take a break from it every now and again. Watch what your mind does. But if we're talking more of the drifting and things that actually do make a difference within our lives and that are that healthy, some of us are drifters to junk food. That's why obesity, that's another one of, it says in the book, that's another one of the devil's mind control techniques, is he encourages you to eat the bad food with all these sugars. That's why people are so obese and they're drifting away because they just eat donuts, sugars, all these carbonated beverages that are soda, right? All these Red Bulls, energy drinks, all these sweets that you can imagine. Oh, I gotta have a sweet after a meal. No, you don't. You're drifting, okay? So what I want you to be aware is number one, are you a drifter? If you are, it's okay. What are you drifting at? If you want to be vulnerable, I encourage you to comment below. Maybe you're not a drifter. Maybe you're healthy and you control it, right? It says in the book that in Outwitting the Devil, if somebody can control their thoughts and their mind and their actions with how they do it, you are part of that 1%, ladies and gentlemen. I encourage you, what can people do that you do to control your thoughts? Comment below. Seriously. I'd love to know personally as well. I feel as if we have all been some way, shape, or form a victim of drifting. I truly believe that. And there are very powerful forces out there in this world. But at the end of the day, you need to ask yourself that question. Are you a drifter? Are your friends drifters? Are your parents or family members drifters? Typically, I'll be real, like a lot of our family members tend to be drifters. How can you help them? How can you help them break that habit? How can you help a smoker quit smoking if they've smoked for 10, 20, 30 years? Same with drinking. You want to know something? I read something in a book, I think it was The Law of Success, Napoleon Hill, another great read. It said if you want to get somebody to break a habit of doing something, so if, for example, if somebody's addicted to eating potato chips, literally have that person eat potato chips until they can't eat potato chips no more. You might be thinking, well, what good use is that if they're addicted to it? Because if they continually nonstop eat potato chips, they're going to get sick of it. And they're going to get, who knows, they might puke, they might throw up. And with them doing that in their brain, it's registering like, oh, I don't want potato chips, right? I'm trying to think of a good example for me. Like, I'm not a big fan of red wine because I've kind of had a bad experience with red wine where I had that and before I went to that club in Vancouver, I blacked out. So I always had that experience of red wine. So every time I drink red wine, I can drink it, but I just, it's just a nauseating feeling and I have no urge for it. So if somebody smokes and if somebody's a smoker, you might be thinking, well, yeah, but so you're saying, Nate, just to keep puffing, like, won't that harm them? It's like, it might, but you have to understand, then they're going to understand that they shouldn't be smoking. Are you a drifter? These are the things that you can do to help break that. So anyways, hope this helps. Until next time. All right. Make sure your friends that are drifting be an impact in their life. They need this. Okay? Great book again, Outwitting the Devil.